Greetings YouTube and welcome to a video I promised I would make last night, but then I was just randomly, filled in my inbox with requests to warn people about not doing the side quests multiple times as it would be a complete waste of time, resources, and unfortunately the bug of a kind of proportion that then, of course, by the time I got it out, even though I rushed to make it, it was too late, and several people commented that they had already discovered that the hard way. So sorry if you did that, but hopefully at least it helped some people not jump in to repeating what was Wednesday's side quest. But the biggest complaint I've received since the patch went live is about the AI. Now, I have run map 5 for a very long time. In fact, I don't remember last time I did not run map 5. So we're talking like 3-4 years. And what the AI is doing kind of reminds me of twofold. It's the old map 5 AI. So if you haven't done map 5 before, because I was always amazed when people would go into map 5 for my alliance and they would say I prefer map 6 because the AI is more aggressive and it's more easily able to predict when to parry and even when to intercept. The AI in the old map 5 for the longest time, it was almost like I called the Snorlax from Pokemon AI, where it would just pretend like it was asleep, and then you would go in to attack it, and it would just suddenly wake up and body slam you, or intercept you, or parry you. And so, we have this thread of all these horror stories of AI. Now, to be clear, Kabam has acknowledged two things. One, that they're aware of this issue, which, does that do anything? Who knows? And two, that at least publicly, there was no internal attempt to modify the AI. That it just kind of happened. I also think it's worth noting that a few people have commented on the AI situation and said that they think it is a overblown exaggeration of an issue that people just need to adjust to and stop complaining. Is that my opinion? No, it's not, but it is an opinion of a couple people in the community, and I try to get everybody's opinion voiced in these videos. Whether or not I agree with them is beside the point. So, I was acting like a dummy in Act 5 and always parried me when I tried to attack and knock me down, so I have to waste units. SMH. This is the ugliest bug I've ever seen. I can't get through 5-4-5 path immunity debuff versus Hyperion because of this bug. Kabambu, first off, thanks for bringing this to our attention. We will continue to monitor this. Meanwhile, please continue to provide us specific information. What is unusual about the specific opponents? Where are you encountering this? When are you encountering this? All of the above. Okay. AI is reluctant to either dash, attack, or throw specials. Feels like map 5 AI behavior or early arena rounds. Exactly. It also feels like the AI when you just start out playing the game, right? AI constantly walks toward you and then idles. Used to an Act 5, 6 variant, Canadian, etc. This is instantly noticeable. Just want to add that I'm also experiencing this. The workaround for now is what unofficial Kabam Mike did in this video. Dash back and give the defender some space, and it seems to knock them out of that reactive phase where they try to bait you into a parry or intercept. So, thank you, Rake. What you're going to want to do if you're not seeing aggressive AI is to dash back, give that defender just enough space to have them almost like wake up from that passive AI stance, and then hopefully they will be more aggressive. But I get how annoying that is, especially at the beginning of fights when you're used to starting, say, a fight with a parry, and then all of a sudden they're just standing there. I've been writing about the AI in Arena for a month here. Now this AI silliness is everywhere. Lovely. Now the Arena AI, I haven't noticed a difference once you get to that infinite streak. But yes, you're going to find in those toughest of matchups, we're talking about in some cases rounds like 8 through 15, the AI is going to act at many times like all or nothing nodes, where they just don't want to fire a special, and you can be dashing back and you can give them space and all of the things Kabam Mike has suggested, and none of them work. And so you're forced to continue to fight them and hit them because you're backed into a corner where if you don't stay aggressive, you're going to be countered. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, just magically, the defender makes their special 3 active, and you couldn't bait the special 1 or special 2 to save your life, but that special 3 was just waiting to be used as soon as it got to full power. Speaking of full power, I just want to say, I'm not trying to be overly critical of this, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. Personally, I always really appreciated the old power bars, so that they were bright and colorful and easy to follow. Now, the new ones, actually I think it's harder to follow, And there's the darker shade part of the sections also reminds me that Kabam can ironically be quite shady. So maybe that's the reason why they changed it, to subliminally remind us of the AI changes and the shadiness that can happen from one patch to the next. And I am so allergic to talking about Kabam Shade today. It is unbelievable. Yeah, I wasn't really worried until I went into Arena and got parried every fight because the AI is being super passive. The AI is dropping their blocks, so when you go into block, they parry you. Yeah, it's really true. They bait you in the arena and then just magically wake up to block when you fight. It's never happened. I don't get parried in Arena. And I'm guessing the LOL does not stand for Labyrinth of Legends. The AI is holding specials when they usually throw them. The side quest that begins today was pretty passive. At times, the AI just drops their block and you both stand there. As soon as you attack, they block. It's like the AI was programmed to try and parry you. Now, that is such a good point by Panchalon21? Panchalon21? And yeah, that's really the most I've heard from people, is just how often they'll get parried and they'll forget it's even possible to get parried by AI because it's just never happened. Yeah, just playing incursions. AI is so passive they literally walk up to you, say boo, and run away and counter as soon as you attack. Now, Apocalypse 189, that is quite the charge. So I know one thing for certain, I have never been parried this much ever. Have we answered why AI can even parry when parry is a mastery skill? Anyway, yeah, this new AI or bug or whatever is trash. And then, as you can see, Kabam Mike, there has been no change made to the AI. Now, I should say Kabam Mike should have used the word intentional in there, because clearly there's been a change, right? There are very few AI profiles in this game, and we can't just change things very easily. I also think that that is not true, given that they just acknowledged and updated, thank God, the AI to Map 5 of Lion's Quest. So it reminds me almost of like a slot machine, which is fitting in Marvel Casino of Champions, where you have a certain level of volatility that you can cycle the machine from like lowest to highest. And I'm guessing that they have a few different AI cycles that can either be aggressive or passive. And when the new patch happened, a lot of what was aggressive went to passive. Now, it's true that there may only be 3 or 4 of these in general, but there's a big difference between, say, aggressive 4 and passive 2. And that seems to be what happened. So he closed the discussion. It did not age well. Now, I believe they're acknowledging, with as many case studies and just proof of actual issues as possible, because the community has done an amazing job, as always, of not only getting this feedback to Kabam quickly, but showing videos, screenshots, anything beyond a reasonable doubt that they can't just dismiss like Kabam Mike did previously just a couple days ago on August 4th. So, yes, the AI is bad. However, you got to ask yourself this question, which you always got to ask yourself. Is Kabam incentivized to change it right away, or to slowly change it and maybe wait until, say, the September patch update? Well, we know that when the AI changes, the fights that you count on getting down pretty quickly also change as well. You notice the AI changes because you get wrecked, or at least you lose health in instances where you're not used to. This is indeed categorized as a pro-Kabam bug. A pro-Kabam bug that costs the player, it's an anti-player bug. And we know, historically speaking, as this is a for-profit company, if a bug helps them earn more money or takes more of your units, they're going to be slow to change it. If it helps you save money, if it, say, gives you a free revive when it's not supposed to, it'll be patched within minutes. So, do not be surprised if you have to wait multiple weeks for the AI to change. I hope I'm wrong by that, but historically speaking, that has been a pattern of behavior by the company, whereas they'll just take their sweet time, even when something has been confirmed and acknowledged, because they don't want to have to do anything about it. They want to keep raking in the money, and they also want to really have an unavoidable next level of compensation, because if they acknowledge that something is majorly bugged, then that might put them on the hook to give us something, and they just gave us such an amazing amount of compensation that usually, I think those higher-ups like to say, that'll keep those complainers or whiners or negative Nancys quiet for a while. And so the fact that this has all happened so fast in the back-to-back weeks of what we just saw as compensation means Kabam is not only highly unlikely to acknowledge it and apologize for it, but they're also highly unlikely to want to have to give out two separate amounts of compensation so fast. So, for those of you who are commenting now, I smell compensation. I don't smell anything. I smell negligence and denial, which are two of the keys to Kabam's playbook. So, that's the AI drama going on. I would highly encourage you to continue to post to this thread. I will pin this thread to the top of the comments of this video. That is the best way to make Kabam have to acknowledge it. Don't expect compensation. As always, I hope I'm wrong, but it's never been in Kabam's repertoire to give two types of compensation back to back so quickly. And so when that happens, look for them to deny things and ultimately to shift blame to the proof of users that have to essentially, it reminds me of when Ghost was bugged for a little while and she wasn't working as intended. They said that there was no intentional change to Ghost. They proved that regardless of intentionality, it happened. They eventually fixed it, but it was not fixed by any means in 24 hours, and I don't expect, unfortunately, this problem to be fixed anytime soon as well.